I am back on the Florida Trail. It is a gorgeous day. I started off in John Stretch Park and I'm headed around the east side of Lake Okeechobee. And I've got another probably 16 miles to go today before camping. The next 55 miles or so are a nice walk. It's mostly paved. There's a bit of gravel alternating. You're going to see lots of birds, maybe a turtle or two. And I was very lucky because 16.9 miles in is the Pahokee Campground and Marina, and my family stayed there. So I got to sleep in the big tent for the night. It's not cheap there, and the food isn't cheap either, but it was really good, and it was a great way to end my first night around the lake. And then the next morning, the family joined me for the first part of the walk and took a bus back from the next town, which was about 4 miles in. And I kept walking on to Port Mayaca, which is the next major town. My biggest piece of advice is right here, 29.5 Port Mayaca Bridge. It's going to look like you can keep walking along the trail. Don't do it because you're going to have to double back and you're going to get to an area that looks like this. You're just going to have to walk through the grass and go across the little median and turn onto the road so that you can go across this giant bridge. The bridge is intimidating and the cars go fast and it's not the most fun. But you get through it, and once you get to the end of the bridge, the path jogs backwards and gets you back onto the trail. I slowed down the video so you can kind of see that path where it jogs backwards. It looked like a really long jog to get all the way back to the trail, and I thought, I'll just take the road walk because I don't want to go backwards because I'm tired. It was a terrible mistake. Double back, take the path back up onto the trail, because if not, it is an 8-mile road walk to the next place where you can get onto the trail. The cars go fast. There's roadkill. It's really miserable. Regardless of which way you go, you will eventually make it to Chauncey Bay Campsite, which is also next to J&S Fish Camp, which is a great place to eat, and they're super hiker friendly. The next 10 miles is more of the same until you get to this area at mile marker 47.7, right before the Nubbin Slough campsite. Now, right now, that whole area is in dispute, so you really have no choice but to get off the trail and do a 3-mile road walk. There were supposed to be freezing temperatures that night, and I had an 11-year-old with me, and we had no place to camp. So we stayed at the Lakeview Inn, and we actually loved it. It was a great place. The owner, Jack, was super nice. They were really hiker-friendly. They had chickens, and the chickens were amazing, and we had a lot of fun. So if you're looking for kind of a fun little extra adventure, I would definitely recommend staying there. The good news is you have only 6 miles to get to the end of the trail around East Lake Okeechobee. You can stop about halfway through. There's a gas station where there's a Dunkin' Donuts. You can even go into town and go to the restaurants. And you will find yourself, if you're on the Far Out app, switching over at mile 150 to the Central Florida section of the app.